Dea Domina omnipotens, ut evangelium tom sanctum digne valem nuntiare. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. There was a scholar of the law who stood up to test Jesus and said, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus said to him, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" He said in reply, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." He replied to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this and you will live." But because he wished to justify himself, he said to Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man fell victim to robbers as he went down from Jerusalem to Jericho. They stripped and beat him and went off, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the road, but when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. Likewise, a Levite came to the place, and when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. But the Samaritan traveler who came upon him was moved with compassion at the sight. He approached the victim, poured oil and wine over his wounds, and bandaged them. Then he lifted him up on his own animal, took him to an inn, and cared for him. The next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper with the instruction, 'Take care of him. If you spend more than what I have given you, I shall repay you on my way back.' Which of these 3, in your opinion, was neighbor to the robber's victim?" He answered, "The one who treated him with mercy." Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise." The Gospel of the Lord. My dear brothers and sisters, today in the Gospel we are just like at the crossing between the Old Testament and the New Testament. You know, the Old Testament, the Old Covenant, this is the first part of the Bible, and the New Testament, this is everything what has to do with our Lord Jesus Christ. So one day a young man came to Jesus to test him. He wanted to provoke him. We know these situations. Sometimes we meet people who want to provoke us. So with some questions, with some behaviors, what do you think about this, about that? And he asked one question. "Master, teacher, what should I do to inherit eternal life?" A very important question. I think everyone who is here now participating in this Holy Mass, here in Bridgeport and online, my dear brothers and sisters everywhere. This is a very important question. What should I do? How should I live? How should I organize my life to inherit eternal life? With other words, to meet God, to be in everlasting life.
salvation, everlasting life with God. What should I do? And Jesus answered on this question with other question. What do you read? This young man was a young teacher, maybe a scholar of the law, so someone who was educated. So Jesus asked him, what do you read? What do you know? And he answered Jesus with one of the most important sentences from the Old Covenant, Old Testament. You know, the Orthodox Jews, when they wear their clothes, liturgical clothes, they wear here on the forehead these words. They have these words here on a small piece of paper. Shema Israel. It means in Hebrew, listen, Israel. Your Lord God is the only God whom you should love with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. In other words, with your whole life. There is only one God. There is nobody else. Only one God. And this God, Lord, you should love above all. So it was the first and the very most important question and sentence and commandment for the Old Testament people. You should love your God above all and your neighbor as yourself. And this young man wanted then to justify himself. Maybe he asked just, okay, but who is my neighbor? Who is my neighbor whom I should love? Who is my neighbor? And this is, my dear brothers and sisters, exactly this moment when the New Testament, New Covenant, so everything what Jesus is bringing with him, this is this moment when this New Covenant begins. Who is your neighbor whom you should love as you love God? Then Jesus brings this parable, this story about merciful Samaritan. We hear about one man who fell victim to robbers. He was wounded, he was hurt, and left alone. So he was in need. And the first person who comes there is the priest, someone who serves in the temple. But he went on the opposite side. He didn't want to see this man in need. The second one is Levite, so someone who helps in the temple. Exactly the same. He also didn't want to see this man in need. On the opposite side and went his own way. And the third person, this is the Samaritan traveler. You know, Samaritan, it was a stranger, foreigner. The Jews didn't want to talk to Samaritans because they have their own religion, their own temple, their own tradition. So with these people we have nothing to do. We don't want to talk to you. We don't like you. Stranger. And exactly this person in this story, this is this only one person who shows mercy. He sees this victim, he helps him, he takes him to the inn, he pays for him, so he shows mercy. And Jesus asked, who from these three people is the neighbor? It was the Samaritan one. So this one who showed mercy, this one who not only heard about mercy, but who also lived and was merciful. And my dear brothers and sisters, this is exactly what Jesus wants to tell us today, you and me. It is not only about knowing the gospel. It is not only about listening to the gospel, about having it here in my head, in my mind, in my thoughts. We can memorize the whole Bible. St. Anthony of Padua, he memorized the whole Bible. He is saint, of course. But it is not only about knowing this. It is about living this. I read in a very nice and wise book about Christian spirituality, that there is a long way, the longest way ever is between our mind, so here, and our heart. 12 inches. But it is the longest way ever. From this what I heard, what I understood, to this what I live, what I practice in my life. The priest, the Levite, they had everything, the wisdom here in their heads. But the Samaritan traveler had this in his heart. So why did he show mercy to this victim? Because he had mercy in his heart. And Jesus said, do likewise, and you will live. And my dear brothers and sisters, my dear friends, it is not above or beyond our possibilities. We heard about this in the Old Covenant, in the first reading. The commandment, the wisdom of God is not beyond your possibilities. It is not beyond heaven. It is not remote across the sea. It is already in your heart. You and me, we are baptized, we are Christians. We profess our faith in Jesus Christ. We come to the Mass and participate on this holy ceremony, on the sacrifice of the Mass. We receive Holy Communion. So we have it already written in our hearts. Jesus' love and mercy. The next step, my dear friends, is to practice this, to live this, not to show this only, not to talk about this, but to live this, to experience, to share it. The Samaritan traveler showed mercy because he had mercy in his heart. And Jesus said, go and do likewise, and you will live. So, today in the Gospel, today in this Holy Mass, we hear about something very, very important. Jesus invites us to make this way from my mind to my heart. From what I've already heard to what I'm gonna live and share. Do likewise, and you will live.